Good morning, Sri Lanka. What a way to start the early AM then with MTV Sports' Good Morning Sri Lanka. I'm your host, Jason, along with my good man, Banu.
Good morning, Jason. What up?
Monday morning. How's the weekend been for you?
Weekend's been good. As I mentioned last week, if you could remember, it was full of studies. I had my exams coming up, but I had my fun.
You know what I did? I went to see the rugby Serendip Cups.
You liked it?
It was amazing.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, and I can't wait for the next few matches. Which
Awesome.
I will mention the dates because I can't remember what the dates were, but I'll mention that anyways later on. But I also did something on Sunday. I went to see a lot of family, and I met my nephew, who I've never met before, and this kid was... I'm going to say it right now on live TV. He's a beast. He's like put on quite a lot of weight. He's a kid.
Uh-huh.
Really young.
So he's been eating too much, is it?
He's been eating way too much.
Okay.
He eats a plate of rice that a grown person can eat.
So I think it's a good topic for us to talk today if you want to talk about it.
Yes, you see what I just did there? Because I just brought, and this is, this is
for the first time ever, I think,
Yeah.
the history of GMSL, Jason says something positive, and I kind of,
positive about my nephew being
positive contribution.
a beast.
Positive contribution to the show, that's what I mean.
Okay, alright, so the show kicks off today with, we have our own childcare guru who comes on the show all the time. We have Arundhati Sivagurunathan. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning.
I'm doing spear fingers like that. Actually, okay.
Welcome to the show once again. How's the morning been so far?
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
You look very pumped up.
Thank you.
Pumped up?
Yeah. Jason, why?
I'm sorry today.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I really, okay. Alright, so getting back on topic, we're speaking about child obesity today. And I was curious, now my nephew he's not really my nephew, it's my cousin's kid. Obese. What is the main cause of obesity with children? What is obesity with children? What is that? Why is it happening? I'm afraid.
Very simply, if you explain, it's a child who is not in par with his weight,
Okay.
to his height, to his gender, and his age.
Okay.
Right? That is very simply. So obesity is more input and less output.
Okay.
So that makes you gain weight.
Okay.
So there's a calculation for this, which is called the BMI, right?
Alright.
The body mass index.
Okay.
So
yes, we spoke about this last time as well.
yeah, the body mass index is generally how you calculate with the doctor is if you have a percentile lower than 5 percentile, that means you're underweight.
Okay.
Right? So if you have percentile from 5% to 85%, that means you're on the normal range of weight. If you exceed 85% to 95, you are overweight.
Okay.
But if you overstep the 95% percentile, you are obese.
Okay. That is harsh, man.
So, but one more thing I need to tell you. Don't do this at home. You need to go to a doctor or a pediatrician because childhood BMI is always measured according to the growth chart.
Right. Well, it's good that you mentioned that because Banu, I know him very well, that he would actually go home and try and test this out with his little ones running around.
Yes,
with your
of
little
course.
cousins.
but with the aid of internet and Google, of course, could we search it online and search for ourselves? We specifically mentioned just a while back not to do it on our own. Could we do that with the aid of online, or?
It's not accurate as a doctor tests it because adults can do that, but the BMI can vary according to your muscular structure, your weight structure, and it goes along with the growth chart.
So it's the individual, is it?
It's more than individual. It's like the child is very different to another child. So we can't, for kids you need to have a very accurate BMI, not like adults.
Okay.
So I think the doctor is the best.
All right.
Right. So, okay. How, now, you actually been, worked with a lot of children. How common is it? I want to know about Sri Lanka. I know there's a lot of obese children in the world, Sri Lanka-wise. How common is a child who's obese?
Very common actually now because for the past 10 years, for the past 10 years it has been growing rapidly.
Okay.
Right. Generally it was not so high, but now it is becoming a problem.
Right. So would you say that it has a lot of things to do with Sri Lanka being more industrialized and all these fast food chains opening up? Is that the cause, or is the kid just being given too much to eat of even healthy food?
Generally what happens with, as I said, obesity is the main factor is the food what you eat.
Right.
right? It can be fast food, it can be the correct food, but it's how you've been fed.
Okay.
So I feel that it's been increasing, maybe due to the fact that less home cooked meals are on the table.
Okay.
And more takeaways, or plus that they feel that maybe the child can grow out of being a bit chunky or chubby.
Okay.
So the parents do not give enough concern to the fact when the child is chubby when they are small, but
Yeah.
what happens is they carry it to adulthood as well.
Right. How do you know the difference? What's baby fat and what's actually a child going into that obesity sector of his life? Sector, I would say.
Accurate BMI check, that's why I say you need to, when a child is small, you need to go to your doctors to check it out. You can't just think like, okay, this is baby fat, or he's going to grow out of it, and maybe they actually, for convenience, parents actually think it's hereditary or even genes.
Oh wow.
Right? But it is not. I mean, there is a hormone play in it where the hormones can come to effect, but very least amount,
So
it is always the eating pattern. Always the eating pattern and the lifestyle.
We do have a video coming up as well, Jason. Sorry.
Oh, what's the video about?
Yeah, it's about preventing child obesity. This is a video that you can actually take a watch, and then we could, kind of have a compare and contrast session. Yeah,
I
could
see.
actually talk about it and give your opinions, and then we could share as well and think exactly what we mean. So take a watch, and we'll be back.
And childhood obesity. Obesity can lead to serious health problems like asthma, heart disease, high blood pressure, and sleep apnea. Make sure you know how to prevent it to avoid any health problems with your child. You will need exercise, healthy meals and snacks, a computer with internet access, and guidance. Step 1. Get the whole family involved in physical activity, such as bike riding, playing tag, walking, and dancing. Physical activity will increase self-esteem, strengthen bones, and reduce stress and anxiety. Step 2. Limit sedentary activities such as playing video games, watching TV, and surfing the internet. The more time children spend playing video games, the more likely they will become obese. Step 3. Provide your children with healthy meals and snacks such as fruits, vegetables, grains, lean meats, and low-fat dairy products. Avoid processed foods and sugary drinks. Step 4. Go to mypyramid.com to help your family get general diet and lifestyle recommendations. Step 5. Involve your family in planning, shopping, and preparing the meals. Sit down as a family as much as possible. Encourage your family to try a variety of foods. Step 6. Teach your children at an early age about food and nutrition so children develop healthy eating habits for life. Step 7. Set a good example for your children by making smart choices about your own lifestyle. Help prevent obesity and future chronic diseases from occurring.
Wow. I really think we just spoke about that last week, about you setting up an example for your kids, because they're pretty much copycats, those darn kids.
So the 8 steps that you witnessed, do you agree with all of them in the right order?
Yes, very accurate. It's very accurate.
Right.
This is the method you should follow to cut down obesity.
But one thing they didn't mention that you mentioned is that the intake of food. Whereas they said, eat your healthy food and your low intake, whatever calories or whatnot in your food, but they didn't mention how much you should give your child. But you did. That's why we have her on the show. You see, MTV does care for
But
your
I
child.
think what they mentioned that we need to elaborate more is the time that the kids spent on the internet. So most of the time I see a lot of kids who don't really go out to play, as that's what we did when we were kids, and they kind of prefer to stay indoor and be online, or playing video games.
But video games are cool.
They are, but as far as we're talking about this in the grand scheme of things, I think it doesn't work out in the long run.
Yeah. We actually touched that the sedentary lifestyle, because you need to cut down on screen-based entertainment and then go into more physical activities. As you said, children are a bit stuck with all these gadgets these days, and it's difficult to get them out.
Pokemon.
But at least 60 minutes of exercise a day.
16.
60. 1 hour. Minimum exercise for a child a day.
That includes any sports you do as well?
Anything. Walking, running, jumping, whatever.
What's the best sport that you can actually give,
anything.
to burn out a lot of cardio? Perhaps swimming?
Anything. It's
Anything.
fine.
Yeah, you remember when we were kids, man. We used to go and climb that tree, chase squirrels with sticks and stuff.
I think times have changed. I think we used to have a very good childhood as well, and so did my parents. But right now what's happening is that we're moving away from that trend where we go into a very unhealthy spot, which is not the best place to be in for the future generations.
But anyways, on that note, we do have to go to a commercial break. So kids, put those Game Boys down and pay attention, because we'll be back with more interesting news on how to lose weight if you're an obese child, and parents if you're watching. We'll be back.